Yo, good evening. Welcome to what is this now? The third show.
Yes, the third, yeah.
Arsenal. Bit of a crazy weekend to be fair. Like yesterday was a bit mad. I don't even know. Like it's one of those games. Before the game, I didn't even tweet out what I thought the score was gonna be because I just didn't know. Like I just didn't even talk about it because I just didn't have. For some reason, I'm usually positive, but yesterday there was just a weird feeling, man. But yeah, let's just get boys. How you doing today, anyway? Before we get cracking,
Good, man. I
Good.
predicted a draw. I remember. What did you picture? I think you picked
I
it.
said Arsenal win, but
Win, yeah.
how wrong I was, man. 3-0 down in like fucking 20 minutes or whatever it was. But
no,
yeah.
it was mad because you know what? When we scored and made it 3-1, I knew we was gonna draw the game. I thought we was gonna draw or win that game. Once we got that one goal back, but boy, let's talk about how we got to that position anyway.
I mean, let's start really with the first goal. I don't. One of you lot go ahead and you lot talk about the first goal because there was issues really with every single goal. Maybe apart from the Lingard goal, obviously that was a banger.
Yeah, that was
Leno had a massive mistake as well for one of them.
Yeah, that second goal was a joke. But
yeah, Lingard's one we can't. Obviously, like you say, any goal that's conceded in any game, to be fair, there's a mistake somewhere in it. Lingard, 99% times out of 100, kicks that, like, shoots over the bar in it. But against us, my man just fires the back of the net every time he plays against us, man. Like, my guy moves like Drogba when he plays against us. I don't even know why he hates us so much. But fair play to him. He's gone to West Ham, got his career back on track. Being picked for England again, so fair play to him. So,
I'm surprised,
Man, he's played 6 games and he's back.
No, I know, but I didn't think he'd hit it off. Like I know it's only 6 games, but I just thought like I thought that he was lucky.
Now.
He was lucky to even go to West Ham.
Yeah, I mean David Moyes has worked with him before at United, innit? So he obviously knows Lingard's got something about him in it. I don't know what it is, but he's got a little something about him. He's not someone that I would want at my club, but
no, obviously
he's a decent player.
He's Premier League level, isn't it? Like he's a decent player.
Bits and bobs in the building, man. That second goal. Let's talk about the second goal.
Wow.
Who are you blaming? I've got one person in my head, or 2 people.
But who do you got? We'll let you start. Then. Who are the 2 people that you're blaming?
Thomas Partey.
I would say
Partey and Tierney originally, because both of them turn their back. None of them stand on the ball to not let that free kick get taken. And then obviously the goalkeeper. Like I think the keeper's so shocked that my man just threw on goal that I don't know. Like he just looked like he crumbled. He didn't know what to do. Like the shot was just so dead as well. Like it reminded me of the Champions League final with Almunia. I was like,
it was like a FIFA goal.
Yeah.
It was like a FIFA goal where your goalie is like just moving mad, and the shot isn't even that good, but it just ends up going in the back of the net, and you're like, just raw. Like
I don't know why he does that with his hand. Like it's next to his foot. Like I don't know why goalies always try to do that. I don't understand.
This is why I rate David De Gea, because De Gea would have saved that with his feet.
Yeah, I don't know why they try
with his feet.
Yeah, literally.
My man, I don't know what he done. It looked like he was picking up flowers. I don't know what he was trying to do with that. But again, it just shows like we're just not switched on. I don't know why. We're just not switched on for the first 5-10 minutes of every game. But this one, like we weren't switched on for the first half an hour. I don't know what it was. And again, we're very lucky that West Ham don't have any strikers or anything, because they could have got more.
I want to talk about. I want to talk about Aubameyang.
Like that, yeah.
Whose fault? No, it's everyone's fault. Like everyone can take blame for the lateness. Who can't take blame? Who can't take blame?
Me.
Yeah, there's only one of us that can't take blame for the lateness today, but 2 of us are late. I'm not gonna lie. Aubameyang, yeah, I don't even know. Honestly, I think it's deeper than football. I don't know what's going on. Something's going on, and I don't think it's even football related, because he doesn't look himself. Even when Lacazette scored, he celebrated, but he didn't celebrate like how Aubameyang would usually celebrate. I think there's something going on. Again, I don't like to blame Arteta, but in that instance, he's got it wrong in terms of playing him on the right and Saka on the left. I kind of see what he was trying to do because he's probably thinking Saka has got a bit more going past their right back, but it just didn't make sense because Aubameyang's whole thing is cutting in like Thierry Henry, cutting in and finding the far post. So playing on the right was like, what's he gonna do? Start crossing the ball in? I was a bit puzzled. But he don't look like himself. I don't think it's anything to do with getting a new contract and getting paid. I just don't think it's anything to do with that. But he just looks.
I don't think because I remember when he was on his first run of like kind of bad form and everyone was talking about it, and I remember me and Jacinho were speaking about how he just looked off the mark. He just looked like a shadow of himself. Even his the way his body expressions and the way he was walking around the pitch. That's why at first I didn't think it was a footballing like matter. I thought maybe, I don't know, it's bad form, but it might be something off the pitch. We obviously heard the news about a family related issue off the pitch. But I didn't expect it to go on this long. I know he obviously had a good game against Leeds. He had a decent goal against Burnley.
Play a 2-yard pass anymore. Like the balls, he can't even play a 2-yard pass.
Yeah,
anymore.
That's what I was saying. Against
the ball was coming into him on the halfway line. Yeah, done it a couple of times against Olympiacos, but yesterday on the halfway line they were doing link-up play, and then he got to his feet and he just kicked it. He didn't even have nowhere to kick it. He just kicked it. And I was just like, there's just something not right there. But I don't know what you do because obviously he's our captain. Obviously you can drop him, put Martinelli in. There's loads of options. There's Pepe. There's loads of options. But
well, I mean, Pepe is a lot better than this Aubameyang that is we're seeing
at the moment. Now. But then again, like even Pepe, like I think he should have scored twice yesterday. Like
Charlie
the way
said,
he kicks the
thing
ball,
to me.
The way he kicks the ball, I just don't even know. Like the way there's just no conviction. Yeah, like there's no conviction, and that always worries me about Pepe. That he's got all the ability in the world, but there's no real conviction to do what he does, to do what he can do, because he could easily be one of the top players in the Premiership, even the world, if he really wanted to be. But I don't think he has the drive and determination to be one of the best. And I think in France he was just comfortable. Over here, he has a lot. You have to work. You have to work to be the best in England. And I think, did he even want to move to Arsenal? Not saying that Arsenal wasn't a step up, but in terms of the lifestyle and everything, they've probably thought, wait a second, someone's coming and offering us double what he's worth. We've got to take it, innit? And I think that's why he's at Arsenal. I don't even know if he really wanted to leave.
It's also like the 70 million fee. It's just everything about it is probably right from Pepe's point of view. You get to go to the Premier League. He's obviously getting paid well. You're one of the biggest. You're the biggest signing in the history of Arsenal Football Club. For him, everything is right. But maybe when you step on the pitch in the Premier League, I think Partey's even felt it a little bit. And I'm a massive fan of Partey, but I've seen a few times, especially lately, maybe it's injury related, where he just seems a bit off the pace for what the Premier League is all about. Obviously, I think that he will more than easily adapt as he plays more, because let's be honest, it's not like he's played like a mountain of games, but I've even seen it from him, like the way Lingard was just dribbling past him with absolute ease a few times yesterday. You wouldn't expect that from a player like him, from like Partey's point of view.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this. I think Partey's been quite bad in most of the matches. Not even that he's been bad. He's just not doing what we expect him to do. And I think it's two things. Obviously, like you say, he needs to get up with the pace. He's been out injured. Doesn't help that he's playing with like Jekyll or El Neni next to him. So he overplays. He always tries to overplay and then gets caught because it's like he's scared to give that ball to whoever he's playing with. But he has a hand in all of the goals yesterday. If you watch it, every goal, he's somewhere playing a forward pass, which Xhaka goes sideways, El Neni goes sideways. Like, that's what he brings to the team. He needs to start, obviously, even yesterday, I think he made the most tackles. I think he recovered the ball the most yesterday. So he's doing stuff, but obviously we know that he's got a lot more in his locker. He needs to stop shooting as well. Bloody hell, man! Like, I don't even know why he shoots.
Oh yeah, he needs to. He hasn't got that in his locker.
Wait, can I ask you
there.
Can I ask you a question? Because I've seen this on Twitter all week, or even the last couple of weeks. Have you think Jack has been better than Partey this season?
No.
Because it's a big. A lot of people are saying Jack.
No way. No.
You know what it is?
I'm not having that. I'm sorry.
I think because Xhaka's played better, people think that Xhaka's playing better than what he usually does. So I think that's probably in people's heads. If we take away Xhaka's mistakes this season, he's had a good season. But the thing is, the mistakes are making us lose or making us draw. So you can't discount that, because we would obviously be higher in the table if he wasn't making these mistakes. Everyone's making mistakes at the moment for us.
But even if he was just a better player, like even when he don't make them mistakes, is he that good of a player? He's not that good.
He's good enough.
He's all right.
He's good enough. I don't think he's good enough to be the main centre mid for Arsenal. But he's good enough to be part of our team. Like, not starting, but he's good enough to be a backup player. And I think for the way that we want to play, he's the only one that can sort of play it. Like, when he's playing well, we can see what he can do, but it's just, does he do it enough? Would you put El Neni in there? You're going to put Ceballos in there? No. And I think even that, I think Arteta's just changing the team too much at the moment.
I mean, the other day you played the three in the midfield of Ceballos, El Neni, and Xhaka. That's one of the worst games I've seen in a long time.
It's just too much, and I can see why he did it in that game, but obviously it didn't work, and he's just going to take the L for that. But it's just, it's hard, man, because what do you do? Like, if you take Aubameyang out of the team, which you can easily do at the moment based on the way he's playing, I still think Aubameyang is the one that you look to get goals. Like, so...
Well, yeah, because we don't really have anybody else. Not even Lacazette is a prolific goal scorer. If you look at how many goals he scored, it's still not shaking your head.
It's working at the moment that when one isn't scoring, the other's scoring. So it's actually working. But over the whole season, I think we need one that's just going to be scoring constantly, which, to be fair, was Aubameyang for the last 2.5 seasons. Don't know what's going on this season, but... yeah, it's just hard to tell, man. Laka, Ubam, Martinelli up front, Odegaard. I love Aubameyang and Laka together. I love the thought of them playing together, but it just doesn't work.
It don't, especially with Aubameyang playing like this, because there's been times where Aubameyang can work on the wing, he can get in behind, or even when he was decent at cutting inside. But now, I'll be honest, watching Aubameyang, I know I was joking about it, but it reminds me of just watching some striker from like Newcastle or something.
Yeah.
When I watch him now,
I don't know what's going on. Maybe we need to take him out of the team for a while. Just let him just chill for a bit. Let him get focused again, because it's just, to me, it doesn't look focused. And maybe take the captaincy off him. Shouldn't be the captain.
That's what I've said. I don't think he should be captain. I think that's putting pressure on him.
But that's the biggest... It's a bit of a sticky one, though, because let's say you're Arteta. You've said to Aubameyang, you're captain, we're giving you whatever money is, 250, I don't know. Yeah, you're going to be the focal point of this team. But let's say it isn't for personal reasons, because obviously if it was for personal reasons, Aubameyang might understand taking the captaincy. But let's say it's footballing reasons. Let's say Aubameyang gets dropped, captaincy taken off him. He's still got 2 more years on his deal. Don't you think it kind of puts...
I think
it could be a bit of a sticky situation.
I think you could always sell Aubameyang.
Would you sell Aubameyang before Lacazette, or... That's a big question as well.
I mean, on current form, you would, but in general, you wouldn't.
That's my thing, because a couple games don't change my mind.
The funny thing is how bad everyone's saying Aubameyang's playing, with the exception of Harry Kane. I think he's not far behind. He's not even far behind Jamie Vardy. I think Vardy's only scored like 12 goals this season, and Lacazette's on 11. So right now, Lacazette is our main main striker, realistically. I think if everyone's firing, I wouldn't sell either of them, to be fair. Like, I don't think we need to sell either of them, but I do think we need another one. Or we're gonna have to start trusting Martinelli, and that's your 3. Like for me, that 3 is good enough. That's enough goals to get you to win you a league. To be fair, if everyone's banging, that's enough goals to win you a league. But that's the issue. They're not always banging at the same time,
and you can't accommodate.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't have 2 that are not scoring at once. You know, it's a bit mad. What's this? That midfield in Europa Tower. Yeah, it was. Uber is the quietest person on the pitch. How is? I mean, captain is. It's one of those things where a lot of the time they give it to the best player in it. Like Thierry Henry was our captain. We should never have been captain, but it was just a move to keep him at the club. Cesc Fabregas led by the way he played, but he wasn't a captain. But right now, Tierney he's the one person that you would give the captain. I mean, if David Luiz never made mistakes all the time, he could be our captain as well, because he's the only other person I see talking. But
any shouts for Bellerin?
Remove Partey, and I might as well put one of the youngsters in midfield. I enjoyed when Xhaka went out for ESR. Oh yeah, so yesterday that's what happened, wasn't it? ESR went into midfield and that worked. There's loads of options. There's so many options, but I can see why he keeps playing Xhaka, because he's slightly better than everyone else. Defensively, slightly better, but again, it's just not good enough, man. It's just not good enough.
You know,
listening to KT in that video made it. I mean,
yeah, I saw that video.
The only thing about KT is that he's a crybaby, man, and that really annoys me, man. I hate crybaby.
Yeah, I saw you tweeting that about him. Like for a hard man, he goes down a lot.
Bro, the guy was like rolling around like a girl. Not a girl. Sorry, I take that back. He was rolling around like a baby the other day, and I'm like, you're supposed to be this big hard man, and as soon as anyone touches you, you're screaming on the floor. Like he tried to do it yesterday, and the ref just gave her a throw on. Like it's just embarrassing, and we've got too many players that do it. Xhaka does it. When Guendouzi was there, he used to do it every game. As soon as anyone goes near him, he's rolling on the floor. Dani Ceballos does it.
Dani Ceballos is a joke when he goes down.
I hate people. Lacazette started doing it all of a sudden.
I mean, he did do that Lacazette scream the other day. I thought he died or something.
Lacazette should have done it yesterday when Chambers played the ball over. The first guy pulled him back, and then the keeper took him out. He should have started screaming then, but he didn't. He stayed on his feet twice yesterday when he should have gone down and tried to get a penalty. But all this screaming business, I don't know where it's come from, man. I don't know where it's come from.
It's just because it's an easy, I guess, like with VAR.
This is what I don't understand. That's what I was going to say. With VAR, why you're doing it don't make no sense, because they're just going to look back at it and be like, well, you just look more of an idiot now because there's more cameras. They're looking at it more than before. You just look like an idiot, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, if we're going to be honest, KT should be the captain. I don't think he will be the captain this season. Probably not next season, but if he's still there the season after, it will take. I think Arteta would have to leave before he became captain.
I just can't see Aubameyang getting stripped like that, because I think it just leaves that. Imagine you're Aubameyang, it'll probably leave a very bad taste in your mouth.
No, I mean, captains scream all the time, innit? I mean, so they change teams change captains all the time, innit? So I don't think it would be that much of an issue. I think he might. I don't even know if he wants to be the captain. Like,
that's
when you
also
hear him talk, I don't even feel like he wants to be the captain. So
he don't show up.
It might be a good thing. And yeah, like, you know what I mean? That's the weirdest thing, is that he never goes to match conference, the after matches and stuff. He never, when he does tweet or whatever about it, it's just some foolishness. Like, there are other people that speak up. Gabriel always speaks up first. Gabriel's the always one. So I think there are other people. Yeah, there are other people out there that have better, captaincy attributes to him. But I can see why he was the captain. But they need to seriously think about it now, and hopefully they make the change. I'd rather KT screaming on the ground than Uber smiling in the middle of the. I mean, that's the thing. I think not enough people smile. That is my issue. When people see Pogba smiling or see Aubameyang smiling, they don't like it. And I'm like, that doesn't make no sense to me. You're supposed to enjoy what you're doing. like, you can't be serious all the time. Like,
I'll be honest. Like,
people hate it more.
in the disaster game. You know, like when we're getting slapped and we.
Yeah, but I can't remember. Someone would need to show me that, but I don't think I've ever seen that personally. Like, if you can show me, then I'll take back what I'm saying. But I don't think I've ever seen that personally. But I do, like, he shouldn't be the captain. It's not he never walked into the office and said, "I want to be captain." So,
and that's why I don't slate him for being, well, let's just be honest, a bad captain, or he's not. It's not like it goes against him as a footballer or anything in terms of like. And some people are just not meant to lead. They're not meant to be the captain. It's just simple. If I'm being honest, most people, they can't lead. Like, naturally, it's not actually something they're supposed to be doing. You don't just see it in football. Even in, like, let's say when you're working in retail and you got your manager there, that person ain't meant to be managing nothing. If they ain't got the qualities to do it. Like. And it's just
but you have more than one in your team. That's the thing, isn't it? You don't just have the captain. You have more than one in it. So I think that's where Arsenal's downfall has been, that we've lost having more than one captain. Like before, you'd have Vieira, Campbell, Henry, Bergkamp. You'd have 5 or 6 captains on the pitch, plus Lehman in goal, shouting like a madman. So now you look at it and you think, who are the captains on the pitch? And Tierney's probably the closest one on the pitch at any one time. So
because I thought, like, when you talk about like that caliber of player, I think like culturally, like they're all on the same wavelength in terms of like winning the football. They're like in tune with each other, and they're all kind of leaders, and they all. But sometimes I feel like this team doesn't really have an identity for that. Like I just don't. Sometimes when I look onto the pitch, I'm not really seeing that kind of. I don't want to use the word, but that vibe, if you know what I mean. I'm not seeing that.
I was watching it. It's not just Arsenal. I think that's why so many of the top teams are not top teams anymore. Looking at Man United, like it's just all like you're looking at, and you got Fred and McTominay in midfield for Manchester United. Some games we've had Xhaka and El Neni in midfield for Arsenal Football Club. It's just not good enough.
And Dennis Suarez.
That shouldn't, it's just not good enough at the end of the day, innit? And I think that's the issue. It needs to get back to having, 4, 5, 6 good players that can take control on the pitch. And that's what Arsenal used to have. I don't think Arsene Wenger used to give people mad tactics to play football matches. I think the players were that good that they done their own thing and just played their own football. And that's what you need to go back to having, to be fair. And if we did have more captains on the pitch, yesterday you wouldn't be 3-0 down after 30 minutes and then have to be chasing the game. I mean, like, that's the only good thing we can say, is that we've been down so many times this season and managed to either get a draw or win the game. But you don't want to be doing that every week, to be fair. Yesterday was just a one-off in it. Obviously West Ham done it to Spurs, so it was their time to get it back. And yeah, like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm annoyed with that first 30 minutes. It's not good enough.
It was a joke. Like, it was actually a joke. Like, I was sitting there and I was absolutely fuming.
Disgraceful. The thing is, I hadn't even switched on yet.
Yeah.
Like, I was still eating my dinner.
That's mad.
And by the time I've gone in the front room to switch on, we're 2-0 down. I'm like, this is mad.
When Antonio scored the header, I thought it was a joke. Like, I thought it was like that. I thought it was like offside or like disallowed, because he weren't even celebrating. Like, because
I think he was saying it wasn't his goal. That's why he wasn't celebrating.
Oh yeah.
It's because he knew that Souček got the last touch in it, so that's why he was saying he wasn't celebrating. But again, it just looked too easy. It was a rubbish goal to concede. Slightly fluky because Souček didn't even mean to score, but it's how you respond. And like I said to you earlier, once we've got that one goal, I knew we weren't losing that game.
I think one thing I wanted to speak about, because I know you obviously seen the title about having like 2 completely different performances in the same game from half to half.
Yeah.
Watching that game and then like recently, I don't know how good we are. Like, obviously, like, you could say the league table does tell us, but when I watch a game like that West Ham game, I don't know how good we are, how bad we are, because the performances were so different. There's no way that we're as good as we played in the second half, but we're nowhere near as bad as we played in the first half. I'm struggling to find like where we are in like terms of level.
Yeah, it's hard to judge it anyway because it's easier to play when you're losing 3 goals anyway because you've got nothing else to lose in it, so you could just go for it mad. But like if we're honest, there's been so many of those games this season anyway where we've been mad on top and haven't scored. So the second half performance for me is more the Arsenal than the first. I mean, both. Like I don't even know. Like it's just a mixture of the two because we've done it so many times where we've given the ball away and conceded goals, but then at the same time, we should have scored so many more goals this season. Like if you're looking at the Wolves game, looking at the Burnley game, looking at the Spurs game,
So
there's just loads of games where we should have been blowing these teams out. So we know we've got it in us, but for whatever reason, which is not. And I mean, it's down to the forward line, really. Like they just haven't been taking their chances. So that's what
I can't wait
is.
until Saka. I can't wait until Saka develops prolifically in terms of his scoring because he actually gets in so many good positions.
Yeah.
I think he could have had so many goals this season as well.
I think that's another.
And he'll
funny
develop
thing
it.
is that I keep saying that people give him an easy time because he's always been our best player, but there's been so many times where he could have killed games off for us because, I think the Wolves game, the Burnley game, where he's had chances that he should score and he hasn't scored, and those are the fine lines that, at the moment, like you say, he's only 19, so it's like he's got so much time and so much room to improve. You can't be too harsh on him, but at the same time, you've got to treat him the same way you treat everybody else. Like if you're in that team, you're good enough to be in that team, so you got to be performing. Same with Odegaard. He's had chances that he should be at least hitting a target, and he's like smashed them over the bar and stuff. So
yeah, he's definitely had a few of those. But we should talk about him, to be fair, because I mean, after that game, really what Twitter has really been talking about on social media is we need to sign Odegaard. Like we have to get him in the summer. He has to be on a permanent deal. What do you lot think about that? Because for me, I really do want to see more of him, but I do appreciate what he's doing right now. I think he's playing excellently, and I just look at him and think that he's exciting to watch in the fact that like we don't have that many exciting players like that we can watch week in, week out, that just do things with like.
I don't think there's more to him, if I'm being honest.
You think it's just that then? You think it's just him, like?
But that's good enough. Like what he does is good enough. It's just now down to the forward players to, when he does give you that chance, you take your chances. Like there hasn't been a game where he hasn't created a goal scoring chance for someone. So his assist should be a lot higher. But with him, it's the balls that he's playing to find Chambers or find Tierney or find whoever's playing right back or playing on the wings. He's finding them for them to get that last crossing, which to the end Mesut Ozil wasn't there. But when Mesut Ozil was at prime, these two players are very similar. The difference is Odegaard has a lot more pace and can travel a lot quicker with the ball and stuff than Mesut Ozil could ever do. But you're seeing similarities that he always goes for the hardest pass. He always looks for the pass that no one else sees. And I enjoy watching it. And I rather my player give the ball away 10 times in a game, knowing that he's going to create 2 or 3 goal scoring chances, than sort of having El Neni or Xhaka that just goes sideways all the time.
That's been the big Bruno debate.
Yeah, that's why I always say
Bruno Fernandes.
I always say all those people that cuss Bruno don't know football. Like you're not going to score goals if you don't try. If you don't try things that no one else on the pitch tries, it's never going to come off. It's never going to come off. And I think even that's the thing that Partey does, is that he plays passes that could easily be cut out, but he tries them because he knows that if it does get through, it gets you further down the pitch a lot quicker than going sideways. It's proper annoying, but it's coming together. I can see what Arteta is trying to do, but you just need the players. Like the board now.
I would like talk about. Yeah, I was just about to talk about the board, but you carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, I think he needs to now get someone that can play with Partey. He needs to get another centre back. Needs to get probably another right back, and I think we need another striker, to be fair. especially if we're going to lose one, and then just continue just to get rid of Nketiah, get rid of Willock, get rid of Maitland-Niles. If you don't think they're good enough, don't keep them. Don't keep them. There's no point keeping them.
I think the ship.
Yeah. Don't kill their career, like, just to keep them on the bench. They're like 23, 24 now. So don't kill their career just by and then playing them leaving them on the bench when they've played every game for Wolves and for Newcastle and West Brom. So get money for them and then go again. Get some players in, man. That's what we need. That's what Arteta really needs. And then we can say Arteta in or out once he has more of the players that he wants.
But you know what it is, though? On that debate, yeah, I don't. Do you know what it is? I feel like every single podcast stream or like video, it ends up being a discussion about like Arteta. But it's like, so like, let's say we go out in the summer, but then obviously the board it's not an excellent window. Then it's going to be another season of we need to see Arteta when we get more players. But when are we actually going to do that?
They'll get rid of him because they know out the back of their heads it's their fault. So they have to get rid of him. I don't get rid of him.
This board, man, I can't see us going out and buying quality players because the thing is with this team, you don't need one or two. We need a few players.
I honestly think you could get away with signing 3 good players.
Yeah, but that would be a good window for Arsenal. I mean, when was the last time we signed 3 genuinely good players?
You're not going to get 3 world-class players, but you need if you sign Odegaard, then you sign someone to play with Partey.
Basuma, innit? Has to be.
So you get Basuma. I think that is the start.
I know, not left back, a right back.
No. Yeah, and a right back. I think that's the start. And I think those 3 signings.
Yeah, I think
I think you can challenge for top 6. Like you can start to challenge for top 6. If you don't get those 3 players, it's going to be another season like this. Would another manager be able to come in and get more from these players?
I think so, and that's not a knock. That's not a knock to Arteta though, because at the end of the day, Arteta is his first season as a proper manager.
They would get more out of them for a little while. Long term, they wouldn't, because half of these players are at they're at their limit. They're at their peak, so you're not going to get much more out of them. To be fair, but there are mistakes that he's made because he's learning. So
we need to be serious.
You have to be able to hold him accountable for the mistakes that he's made, but also know that it's not entirely like some of these players have been there from Arsene Wenger days. Like, how is that possible? Like,
I don't know how Jekyll is still here.
They weren't good enough for Arsene Wenger, so why are they still here? Like that. Those are the sort of things that
it's crazy.
You need to seriously be looking at, and it's the same with a couple of the other teams like Man United and that Spurs had the same squad for like 4 years. Like, obviously it's hard. You can't compete against Chelsea and Man City, but you just have to look at Leicester and see that it can be done. You can find players out there that are good Premiership players, and you're able to push the top 4 teams. But yeah, I mean, again, like we said, man, if we don't get those 3 players, then again we're going to finish where we are.
What will piss me off even more?
Till we get sacked.
So what will actually piss me off, and I'll just be honest, is it's like we've bought Partey, you've signed Aubameyang to this 3-year deal. Let's say we assume that he'll get out of this rut that he's in and start playing how he was playing before. If we don't build on that and we allow somebody like Xhaka to stay, then honestly, like that couldn't just hurt us for that season. That can hurt you for a good few more seasons. Like if we don't actually this summer accelerate and really try and get the players we need, I'm not optimistic for the next 3-4 years for this club.
But that's what they've done already. Like they killed it by doing the same thing with Mesut Ozil. You signed him, give him this big contract, and then you didn't build a team around him. How did that make sense? If you're going to give someone that much money, surely you build a team around them, and then you let someone that in the big games was our match winner in Ramsey leave for free. We sold Oxlade-Chamberlain on it wasn't on the cheap. Like maybe it looks like a good sell now because how much has he actually played for Liverpool since he's left? But those are the situations that we need to be sorting out. But yeah, getting back to the game, yeah, like when it got to 3-2, I knew that we weren't losing that game. But then the fine margin of what's his name, Antonio, if he was 6 foot, he scores.
Yeah,
he scores. But again, that's one of those things where you can't be too mad because we're chasing the game. So you're going to leave gaps. You're naturally going to leave gaps. But when
I thought it was it's a brilliant response. I mean, to be fair, at 3-0, I was kind of leaning back on my chair on Twitter for a little bit. Like I wasn't even because I'll be honest, like that kind of game, I was already annoyed, and I was like, "There's no way we're gonna get back into this." But the response at halftime, I have to say, and even towards the end of the first half, I was impressed. I'll be honest, and that's although I was pretty unimpressed by Arteta's starting lineup. The fact that their team and him, obviously, they've had a discussion and they've come out and played like that after. I didn't like the lineup at all. I really didn't.
I don't even think there was nothing wrong with the lineup except
Pepe should be playing. I'm sorry. I think Pepe should be playing. And I didn't want to see. I wanted to see Gabriel.
Yeah, I think that was the only one that I didn't understand was why Gabriel wasn't playing, especially when Antonio's playing. Maybe he had a knock, maybe he wasn't fit. I don't know. Like that one didn't make sense to me. Out of all the changes that were made yesterday, was if you're having Antonio and the way he just runs at people in a mad one, why are you playing our two slowest players at centre back? And you've got David Luiz that loves a red card playing against Antonio. It was just a bit mad. That was the one thing I didn't understand. But again, you can't win a league or finish high up in the league changing your defense every game. Like
no, you can't.
I think Arsenal, I think Arteta and Tuchel are the only two managers that have changed their defense in every game. Literally, it's just crazy. I don't know if you could do it for a whole season. It's working now.
I'm confused with this Chambers business as well because it's not. I don't know. Does Chambers have a genuine future here? Is he just utilizing him whilst he has his time left? I don't. Obviously, I think he played quite well yesterday, but I don't know.
I think Chambers was in our team before he got injured, and he was playing well before he got injured. So I think he does rate him. Like Chambers is comfortable in the ball, and I think you need that as well. And against the games that he has come in, he's played well, and it's made sense because
he's better than Holding.
Of course he is.
Yeah, I think.
So wouldn't you think it would be better if we just brought back Chambers and then we should have just sold Holding or sell Holding in the summer instead of giving him a 5-year deal?
With both of them, they were both injury prone, innit? If you can sell Holding and get like 10-15 million pound for him.
That's what I mean. Like in the summer, we sell him coming up now in the summer. Yeah.
But it really depends on what Saliba's doing. If he comes back and he thinks Saliba's got a future, then one of them are gonna go. Obviously, we've got what's his name out on loan in Germany,
Mavropanos.
Who the first couple of games I thought he looked good, and then I think he was that Man United game or whatever it was. I can't remember. One game he just got ripped and he had to come off at half time, innit?
Someone told me on Twitter that he's supposed to be decent, but I can't lie, and I've never ever watched him play over there.
Like, let's be honest, like you're in Germany, second division. Like, what kind of level is that? Even if you ball out at that, am I impressed? No.
It's just it's just really about finally getting rid of all the dead wood. Because if you get rid of all the dead wood, you can get 3 good players in. Because you've also now got the added fact that you've got rid of so much players in wages as well, so you can pay some of these players as well.
I think we will sell Lacazette as well.
I don't think he will go.
I think they will sell Lacazette. I don't think they're good. I think
because
he'll ask for good money as well.
He goes on a free.
I think they'll give him money as well.
Yeah, but he will be on Charlie. I don't think he would want.
I don't think he will want to take a new deal if he's not going to play every week.
Or if the money ain't right, but it's the last big deal of his career.
I don't even think it's too much to do with the money. I think it's now for his age, it's about playing. And wherever he goes, he could easily. I don't know. He's not going to go to Atletico now, but he could go anywhere. And if he leaves and goes to another country, he's going to be a hit. Like it's only the Premiership. I think he'll go out and score goals wherever he goes. It's just in the Premiership. It's just not for his type of player. It's not that easy to get goals. But yeah, I just think get rid of the deadwood and then reassess and honestly stop keeping these players. We had Martinez for 10 years. 10 years before we gave him first team football. We can't
and then
keep
when he
doing
was
that to
good, then we
people,
sold him.
Yeah, we sold
then
him.
we sell him.
Yeah.
So it's just mad, isn't it?
Yeah,
but yeah. Yesterday again, it was, as we said, man. That first half was it was diabolical. Like we can't do that again. Because against another team, you're not getting back into that game, man. If West Ham had any good defenders or anything, they shut us out. Like everyone's talking about Arsenal should have got Moyes, and what people don't understand is it's easy. It's easier for teams like that to perform and get in the top 6 than it is for, say, Arsenal, Chelsea, and teams like that, because there's real pressure at these teams. When Moyes was at Man United, what did he do? Done nothing. Obviously, Brendan Rodgers done well at Liverpool, but then he got sacked because they were like 12th or whatever. So when there's no pressure. Leicester have won the Premiership more recent than Arsenal, than Spurs, but they're not considered a top team. So there's no pressure at Leicester. So anyone that goes there, they don't really feel no pressure.
I think
why is there more pressure at Spurs who haven't won a trophy like in the last whatever it is 13 years? There's more pressure on playing for Spurs than there is playing for Leicester, who won the league 4 or 5 years ago, which don't make sense.
I think it's because of what Spurs are trying. I think Spurs, I feel like they are desperate for a trophy, and I think that's why they got in Mourinho. That's exactly the reason, actually, that they were starving for a trophy. I think they know. I think there's a lot of pressure at Tottenham also because of Harry Kane. Like they have Tottenham have a window to win something, and it all has to do with Harry Kane. So if Harry Kane leaves, they're not going to have a chance of winning anything. I'm sorry. Maybe you could win the cup if you ever gone on a good run, but really, if Harry Kane leaves, what chance do Tottenham really have? Because he's their best player, and he's the best player they've had for a long time.
They have more of a chance.
You think?
Providing
they invest it well.
They invest it, but they're not going to. So that's what's going to be the downfall of Spurs. Is that if he does leave, they're going to be in pretty deep trouble, because who you're going to get? You might get Danny Ings, who's going to score you goals, but is he going to stay fit? Like, it's going to be hard for them, innit? And he's not going to invest the money. He's going to keep the money. He's going to try to pay off the stadium more.
Going from Kane to that, I like Danny Ings, like, to be fair, but going from Kane to Danny Ings, and then if Kane leaves Tottenham, it's quite a big statement because
it's regardless, because he's the second best striker in the world.
Yeah,
so you can't replace him anyway.
Maybe they'll get Lacazette.
Like you literally cannot replace him anyway. So it's peak. It's peak. Yeah, I think we should be looking to get rid of Leno soon as well.
You think that's a big statement? To be fair, like you think we should be getting rid of him?
Why is that a big statement?
I think
he makes too
not a big statement, but it's like
good.
What annoys me though is like
he's a match winner, but he does what he done yesterday, or he does what he done against Burnley.
Well, does that too?
Who would you buy them? Because it's a funny situation.
That's the only problem. You sell him, you can't buy no one, because I don't know any other good goalkeepers.
I mean, we did have one,
but is he though? Like, we saw him in 7 games. No,
but I'm saying from now, he's been playing very well.
And then he's made mistakes for Aston Villa as well.
Yeah, but he's still been really good.
So Leno is good 99% of the time, but when he does do something stupid, it costs us, which happens with goalkeepers. That's the problem, is that you need a keeper that doesn't do that, because when they do it, it automatically, it's a goal. Like a striker does what a keeper does 4 or 5 times in a game. If a striker misses an opportunity, that's the same thing as a goalkeeper making a mistake, but the keeper gets blamed for it.
We've struggled to have like a truly world-class keeper here for years. Like
everyone has. No one. As much as people like to think Alisson and all these people are world-class, they're not world-class. They're not.
You don't think so?
World-class. No.
I like Edison, though, to be fair.
They're just an improvement on what they had. And because with them, they just have everything that's like, if you have a good defense, your keeper's 100 times better. So if we had Virgil van Dijk playing for Arsenal, Leno wouldn't be as rubbish as he is. Like, he wouldn't have to
Obviously,
be making as many stages.
Obviously,
So
of course, that makes sense.
That's why half of these keepers, obviously, you had like Henderson, who looked sick at Sheffield United because he was having to make 100 saves a game. But when he's gone to Man United now, it's just, I don't know. I just don't think there's
also
the
modern keeper's a bit different. It's not like you're coming up, you have to sweep, you also have to play out.
Bro. I don't want none of that playing out. Just save the bloody ball, bro.
I understand your world-class comment, because let's say you're comparing like Alisson or Edison to a Casillas, for example.
Bro, it's not
it's not the same level. I do understand the argument, but like for today's game right now, who are you really gonna say is better than Alisson? And maybe Neuer.
Put David Luiz in goal, and get him to play at the back. Like that's what I'm seeing.
Maybe Jack has found his new position, then, isn't it?
Trust me, just put their man in goal and just play like that. But they're very good goalkeepers, but I don't think there's too many world class goalkeepers in the world. Like if you put Mendy in Arsenal's team, bruv.
I think Oblak's quite good.
Yeah, Oblak obviously is probably, and what's his name at AC Milan? Is it the rumor?
Donnarumma.
Yeah,
right.
he's like,
he's still like
22.
He's young, but he's been like 22 for like 20 years.
Yeah, so there are keepers out there, but not many. And are you going to get them? I don't think so.
Oh yeah, Ter Stegen as well.
Yeah. But those are the ones that you're just not going to get right now.
No, obviously we're not going to get any of those.
I always thought Arsenal should have sold the goalkeeper who brought in the most funds. Leno. I don't know.
But how much money would Leno really get? Like, how much money would we really get for Leno? Like, I'm not thinking like that.
Would make profit.
You would make back what you paid for a minute.
We saying 30 in a COVID world. Let's say 30 million.
Yeah, which you would take, innit? So should we not classify key players as world class? As it just goalkeepers at some point? Players show their skills even with the best around them. I don't know, but if you look at it, was Leno not like our best player last season? Won us the most points. Even certain times in this season, he's won us the most points.
I'll be honest, I was really impressed with Leno, the way he was going, probably until about 3 or 4 games ago.
And then, like,
if I remember correctly,
and then he fell off after that.
He also had a mistake against Dundalk, if you don't remember. I think it was against Dundalk or one of those teams. But he
made a crazy one, and I think
because I think he did improve in his pass and his distribution. But
it's a bit mad because it depends on who your team is. Because I've said Alisson has made tons of mistakes. He's made the most mistakes that have led to a goal than any other keeper.
I mean, this season it's really shown as well.
No, I mean, since he's been in the Premiership, he's conceded the most. He's made the most mistakes that have led to a goal than any other goalkeeper. But Liverpool win. That's the difference. So you don't notice it. If Arsenal was winning these games, you wouldn't notice Leno's mistake, but you notice it because we're not winning the games. Like, so if we would have went on to win the Burnley game, no one would even be talking about Leno's stupid pass.
No, because it's overshadowed by the fact that he got 3 points. And...
The Benfica one kind of just gone out the window because we went. Say that again.
The one v Tottenham. Remember when he ran out the box and like got sent off when he handled it? You don't remember that?
Against Wolves.
Wolves. Yeah. Wolves game,
yeah.
I forgot about that completely. Yeah, that was bizarre. I still can't understand that.
I can't understand anything in that game. How Finn got sent off. How we weren't winning 4-0 before David Luiz got sent off. It was mad. But yeah, just to finish off on yesterday's game, 3-3 Lacazette. Again, great play from Odegaard into Pepe, which made the difference when he came on. Like, just kept going forward, didn't he? Just kept running at their defense.
It was a quality ball as well.
Right, I thought it took a deflection. It was just so weird. I thought it took a deflection.
Obviously, it's on his right foot as well.
Yeah, it's just that's why it looks so weird. Great clipped in chance for Lacazette, who at the moment for me is probably been our best attacker in the last.
No, definitely. I thought he was excellent against Tottenham, if I'm honest.
And again yesterday, it's just this is what I think frustrates everyone is that when you see him putting in those performances of the last 2-3 games, you're like, why do you not just do that every week? Like, just do it every week. If you didn't score, but we saw that sort of level of performance every week, no one would have any complaints in it. But it's the ones when he's taking the crazy air shots and doing just a madness, and then everyone gets on his back, and then again, it just looks like he's like. If we're going to be honest, he hasn't been a success in terms of how much he cost. Because it was
he's not been a success.
40 something million pounds. So it hasn't.
I think he's been a decent, good player. Not what we expected, but that's all he's been.
He had one good season under Emery when he was Player of the Year, but since then he ain't been the same
good.
guy.
But he hasn't been good enough, in my opinion.
Yeah,
over
completely.
a long period of time.
Yeah,
and again, it's not just him. There's been so many of them that have let us down. I would say he's let us down, but just hasn't reached the heights that we thought they were going to reach.
Yeah, lift up.
Yeah, like I've never looked at Lacazette as ever, to be honest, at his time at Arsenal and thought you're a problem. Like, you need to go, if you know what I mean. I think there was only one time, if you remember, and I think, was it this season or last season, where everybody was on Lacazette?
I think it's both.
Yeah,
I think these last two.
Like, proper on Lacazette. Like, people were saying he needs to go. I think it might have been last season.
I think it's because every season you need someone to blame, don't you? Like, you need someone to blame for when things are not going right. And it was his time. If it wasn't his time, it is going to be Xhaka's time. If it wasn't Xhaka's time.
No, Xhaka's time is every time. It's every day.
Or it's Bellerin's time. His
time is every day as well.
Anyway. I think Lacazette's one's harsh, but it's weird because people hold Firmino up in the air like this guy's amazing, but I don't think he's ever outscored Lacazette. I think he's outscored.
To be fair, you know what? Me and Charlie have had this argument a few times because Charlie, you don't think Firmino is like as good as everyone thinks he is.
Like I say all the time, if that's what we're judging it on, then Lacazette is sick because he just runs around, he hustles. Like he's a problem in that sense that he never lets defenders rest. Like he's always just busy buzzing around. But that's what Nketiah does as well. So why are we saying that Firmino's great because he does a no-look pass or does a little step over or does a dummy? Bro, like you're there to score goals. That's like I think he's got
an open goal and everyone was like, "Oh my lord!"
Like, he scored 6 goals this season. Him, Martial, all of these guys.
Oh no, Martial! Don't get me started on Martial. I've always said this guy has never
they hold these guys up there, but then everybody wants to cuss Lacazette when he outscores all of these guys. So it never really makes sense to me. But
for me,
again, I just don't care about it.
I don't want it's not a United show, but Martial for me, he's had his time. Like in terms of like he's had time to show me or everyone who he is, and he's had one decent season. He's done a few good things, but he's not like last season.
Last season was who you talking about? Sorry, Martial.
Martial, yeah. Last season was his best
last season.
Was
17 goals was his best season. But again, he can potentially go up to like £50 million.
I think they could get more. They could probably get more.
So I think they pay 30 something, but it can rise to 50 something.
Oh, okay.
But it's just like it's just too much deadwood in all of these teams, and I think we need to just try and be a bit more savvy like Leicester, to be honest. Like whoever's making the signings at Leicester, we need to get them in because they found Ndidi, they found Maddison, they found all these players for. I know Tielemans was like 40 million, so that is quite a bit of a chunk of money, but he's looking like a very good player.
I mean, the best one they found was probably Vardy as well.
Like, obviously, Vardy,
Kante, Mahrez.
There's just loads of them. There's loads of them. And,
what's the centre back's name?
Fofana.
No, him as well. The other one, the Turkish one.
Them, like getting Evans in for cheap.
Pereira.
Like, so they've got all of these players. So if they're good enough for Leicester, if you've got a better manager with technically better players around him, then why are we not doing it? Why is no one else doing it? Like, people forget Fred was £52 million.
Yeah, no, I've never really seen like the hype about Fred. I'll be honest.
I didn't even.
Dembele was how much was he?
He was a big signing.
Million?
Fred was a big signing.
Like, so was Dembele. Like these players are just
yeah,
costing
Ndombele
loads
as
of money.
well. Yeah,
What?
I
Like, you could
remember
get three
Bakayoko.
players.
Fred is
Bakayoko, like, remember he still plays for them. Still a Chelsea player. Like,
Is he still?
so
I thought he went on a perm.
Yeah, no, he's still on loan. So this is how
He was
football
awful.
has gone.
Yeah, he was
Like, football's just gone
absolutely
mad, innit? And
shocking.
again, it's down to the board to hire the right people. Like we hired in for the last 2 seasons, and they just ripped us off. Like they basically, that's why they all got sacked because
Oh, like Raul Senlehi, that guy.
Yeah, like all of them man were just doing. They were doing
Scarface
something dodgy because all of these signings were dodgy. Especially the Pepe one was the dodgiest one because someone somewhere has made a lot of money out of that signing because they've managed to make 20 million on top of probably 30 million on top of what they should have, to be fair.
Because that 70 mil is not 70 mil directly to Lille. The 70 mil is split up between obviously the club and the players' representatives and bonuses, etc., etc. So obviously a big chunk of that 70 mil has gone somewhere that isn't Lille, where it shouldn't have been going.
Trust me, I think that's why we got rid of certain people. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to be optimistic right now, but there are signs that you can be. But then again, you give the second half performance and you're optimistic, and then next game you're going to go give the first half performance from the West Ham game. So again, there is blame for Arteta, but if these players are playing for Arsenal, you have to fix up. Like you have to fix up. Like you're playing for Arsenal, innit? Fix up.
That's a funny comment.
I'm never gonna get over it. To be fair, like because he's gonna go down as our most expensive player ever.
I'll be raw as well, yeah. Because I don't like to lie about what one thing. I know it's off topic, but one thing that grinds me the most is when people outright, blatantly lie about watching a player that we're linked with. And I know you definitely ain't watched him. I never knew who Pepe was before. Like
the thing is,
all the
only reason why I knew who Pepe was is because I think he finished. Like because I got BT Sport. I watched like French football.
As well.
So I remember before the season, before we signed him, he ripped apart PSG, and just as a joke, I was like, "Oh, we should go sign him." And then 2-2, we bloody go sign him. It was just off one game.
Charlie, don't start on Zaha, bro. He'd be going for like an hour.
It was like Sarr. Is it Sarr that went to Watford, and he ripped us apart in the Europa League? And I was like, "Oh yeah, we should go for him." And then he goes to Watford. But yeah, Zaha would have made more sense for me because he's played in the league. But I think we weren't trying to pay up. We were just trying to do that catalogue crap, like over 10.
Yeah, but it's like you pay 70 million for Pepe, 50 for like a Zaha, or even it's not like.
I don't think we would have got Zaha that cheap.
You think?
That's the good thing. Yeah, I think that's the good thing about Crystal Palace. They don't let players go for cheap. Like.
But even if it's 70 mil, like what's the real difference? 70 for Zaha, 70 for Pepe. And I'm a big Pepe fan as well, but I'm saying like
no, but I mean like it means you'd have to pay 70 million up front.
Yeah, obviously we did the installment deal.
Yeah, like with thing, it's over 5 years or whatever.
So we could still get Zaha, there's time. Like he's still gonna be a great player for the next few years. He's only getting cheaper as well.
I don't think he's the sort of player that we need.
I'd have him anyway, to be fair.
I think his attitude stinks as well. So I don't want another player. He just reminds me of a Guendouzi. Like he's always complaining. I don't want another one of those in my team. I want men now. I'm at the stage where I just want men. I want winners that are gonna come in and just be men. I want people to blast people when they're playing crap like Tierney, not moan because someone didn't give you the pass. You remember that Liverpool game and the guy was crying on the floor? I know what's his name is rubbish. What's the strike partner guy's name? The one that's got a brother at Swansea. Plays for Crystal Palace.
Oh, I forgot his name.
Oh, what's his name?
Oh, Ayew,
yeah. He gave Thing a crap pass, and I swear.
Oh, yeah.
I was laying on the floor for like 10 seconds. I was like, bro, just get up, just carry the game on. But
yeah,
that's
no,
the
I
sort
do
of
know what
thing.
you mean, but he's just like he don't want to be at Palace. He's obviously the
Yeah,
best
it
player
doesn't. But
there,
that's why
and
you
he
just got to be humble. There's players out there
no.
that don't want to be at their teams, yeah, but they're just humble.
Do you know what though? I know we've gone on for a
fucking baller.
Yeah, we've got 1 minute. We've got 1 minute.
All right, let me just say, because what was interesting was, because I have a problem with Guendouzi, because I think he thinks he's bare cold, but he's not cold like that to be acting the way he is, isn't it? But it's weird that he's captain for France. No, he's a good player, but he's not Fabregas, if you know what I mean.
This is why I don't know who to believe, because everybody makes you believe that this guy's the issue. He's some bad man. Like, it's just, why have Hertha Berlin played him in every match?
And
if
why
this
have
guy's that much, why have they not sent him back? Like, so it can't all be true. I can see, like, he's a brat. Like, we saw it against Brighton.
Definitely, yeah. No,
he's a brat, and he needs to learn. But there was things that I've seen in him that I haven't seen in a midfielder for a long time. Like, not just at the Emirates, but in the Premiership, where they could just drive at that age as well, where he could just pick up the ball and just drive from midfield and make things happen. I don't think I ever remember the guy going backwards, ever.
I remember against Tottenham, he was really good.
His attitude just like, yeah.
But don't you just gamble on it though? Because
I think he just didn't say sorry. I think they tried to make him say sorry as well.
And he said no, innit?
No, innit? So I think that was
I said sorry.
If you're not saying sorry, then yeah, it's a bit mad, to be fair. But it'll be interesting, because he's someone that I would want to see play with Partey just for a couple of games and just see.
Yeah, it's sad that we didn't get to see.
Partey is another guy that should be able to blast man like that. Like,
yeah,
Tierney, another one that maybe, like, when he comes in, we'll start blasting him as well. So
I think when Partey's comfortable, I think you're gonna see it.
Yeah, so I think that's what we need to see, but we may never see it. But boys, yeah, that was a mad show. Like, we always say, we're trying to keep it to 35, 45 minutes, but
and it goes on for an hour. I thought you had another show after this.
I did, but nah, bro. That's 37 minutes gone past, so that ain't happening today. That show's not happening. But boys, tell us where we can find you, man. For anyone that doesn't.
Obviously at the M5 on Twitter, and just type in M5 on YouTube as usual. And yeah, we're just there. I think by now a lot of people probably know where they can find us. Obviously, we're tweeting
100%,
everything, but that's where you can find us if you don't know where we are.
To be fair, I don't think we're going to be on next week because of international duty. So it's not. I'm not really trying to talk about England playing San Marino. To be fair, I might do. You might see me talking about it on another show, but not on this show. So yeah, as you may know, that we take it in turns. So this week was on my channel. So not next week, but the week after, we'll be back on their channel, and that will be after the Liverpool game. So
it's a big game to come back for.
Yeah, it could be a bit mad still. So I'm rather it's on their channel than on my channel, to be fair. Especially if we don't win. But yeah, everyone, thank you.
You hate Liverpool, innit?
Yeah, man, they just think they're big bullocks, man. They're fans. Like the guy yesterday that was trying to get onto me on the wrap up, and I'm like, bro, it took you 30 years to find a manager that could win you a league in it, and you're talking about Arteta. Just leave it out, man. And remember, they're the best team ever to play in the Premiership.
No, that's an absolute false narrative comment. Yeah, just leave that to them. They can think that.
Just leave that to them, innit? Like, I'm just gonna worry about my team from now to the end of the season, innit? And in Arteta, I trust. I trust in the process, man. But yeah, everybody, thank you for rolling with us, and we see you in 2 weeks' time, man, on the N5 channel.